call this meeting to order. I would ask the secretary to please read roll call.
Mrs. Thomas,
Present.
Mr. Daly,
Present.
Mr. Blosh, Mr. Glockner,
Here.
Mr. Swindell,
Here.
Mr. Sanders, Mr. Horn.
Here.
Mrs. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Thank you. For the purpose of today, Mr. Holm, we're asking you to vote as part of our committee. And thank you for being here. Appreciate it. I'd first like to just get some house rules over. Please silence your phones and all electric devices. If you disagree with a decision that this board has made, you have the right to go to appeal this to the circuit court. You will find that there are speaker cards on either side, and if you are here to speak in opposition to a case that's being presented, or you want to speak for it, please fill out a card, and we'll pick it up, and you'll have time to speak. The public speaking is 5 minutes on each side, and then 3 minutes for additional comments. So 5 minutes and then 5 minutes for rebuttal, 3 minutes additionally for further comment. We would ask that you exit the building once we have decided, or once your case has been decided upon, and the reason we do that is just because if we don't, there's a lot of chatter in the audience. As you can see, it's full. But sometimes it's a little bit off-putting when we can't quite understand what's going on, so we would ask that you exit the building. I would now like to ask the board, have you had a chance to review the minutes from the last meeting? If so, is there a motion to accept the minutes as presented?
I'll make a motion to accept them.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to accept the August 6, 2024 minutes. Thank you.
You can start the vote with your
You have to vote with your keypad.
device. Motion carries. All in favor?
All right. With that being said, we will go ahead and start with BOA case number 2024-3890. This was postponed from last month. The request was for a variance to reduce the required front yard setback from 25 feet to 15 feet and required rear yard setback from 20 feet to 10 feet. The zoning is an S1 suburban residential district and MHO manufactured house overlay. Will the staff please present their findings?
It appears that Mr. Lindsay and Mrs. Cohen are not present right now, so would the board like to maybe postpone the two first cases to the end of the agenda and see if they will maybe come a little later?
Yeah, I make a motion to table it to the.
All right, we will table the first two, which is BOA case 3890 and also 3891 till the end of the meeting, so that we can move forward. With that being said, pardon me, the next case that we will hear is pardon me, please, I don't know what's happening to my voice. BOA case number 2024-3933, which is a request by the applicant in an R1 rural residential district for variance to move the required 50-foot no-cutter buffer along the west side of the property to the east side of the proposed 35-foot access servitude. The property is located south side of U.S. Highway 190 Covington, and the applicant representative is Justin Cowart. Would the staff please read their findings?
The objective of the request is to allow for the 50-foot wide side no-cut buffer to be moved to the west side of the proposed access servitude. Relocating the buffer along the eastern side of the access servitude will allow the property owner to direct the drainage runoff from the adjacent property towards the rear of the property, which is where the natural drainage flow, towards the end of the property. Also, I have a revised survey here. I think that, that will a little bit more illustrate what the owner is trying to accomplish here. And I will pass it around just for you to see where he's trying to place the 50-foot no-cut buffer to the west of the access.
All right. If you will let us take a look at this real quick, and then I will call forward who's the person who's representing this case. Thank you. Did you want to read there's no objection?
And just to add to the comments, there's no objection to the request, considering that the property is abutting an approximately 80-foot no-cut buffer, which is part of Preston Vineyard subdivision. Moreover, the objective of the request is to improve the drainage of the property and allow for the minor subdivision of the 10.2022 acre parcel to be subdivided in 2 parcels of land.
Thank you. Will Mr. Cowart come forward, or whom? Will you please state your name and your address, please, sir?
Justin Cowart, address is 15127 Bahia Court, Covington, Louisiana.
All right, sir.
Is the mic on?
It doesn't sound like it is.
Is there a button up here?
There we go.
I think it's on now.
I think it's on now.
If you would just redo it again, I'm sorry, just for the
Justin
microphone.
Cowart, address 15127 Bahia Court, Covington, Louisiana.
All right, sir. Thank you. What would you like to present before the board?
Just moving the servitude to the side that was discussed, just to improve the drainage. The neighborhood that was built there, I once lived in, and I bought the adjacent 10 acres to it. And I discovered that there was an old lease road used for hunting to get back to the Marietta Trust and the acreage behind it. There were some drainage issues that weren't taken care of, and I'd like to take care of them. I also own a land clearing business, so I'm very familiar with drainage, and I would like to take care of that by placing a ditch, driveway, and having all utilities being able to be ran right on the property line.
All right, sir. Thank you. Is there anyone here who opposes this case? If not, I'll open it up, questions up to the board. Mr. Glockner?
Yes, sir. How you doing today? I see that you're gonna subdivide this into parcel A and parcel B, so your drive access will be to the east side to access the parcel B in the future.
Yes, sir.
That's the plan.
Yes, sir.
Are there any other questions from the board? This looks pretty cut and dry. Drainage dry, little play on words. All right. If there are no further comments or no further questions, then I would put this for a vote.
I'll motion to approve as requested.
Okay.
Seeing as he's experienced and knows what he's doing, and seems like it'll help
Is this mic on?
possible drainage issues with that subdivision.
Yeah, Mr. Glockner, could you turn your mic on, please, sir? Go to. Did he? It's just not. Okay.
Do I turn it on? Is it on now?
Is it green?
No, it's. Should say request to speak. Yeah.
So you
Just push once.
if you push, there we go.
There you go.
Okay.
I was testing you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. As I was saying, I would
You were
motion
making a
to
motion.
motion to approve as requested, being that the gentleman has experience in this type of adventure, and also that it probably would improve drainage for the nearby subdivision in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I hear a second? All right, thank you, Mr. Holm. It has been moved and seconded to approve this request. All those in favor, please vote.
All in favor, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank y'all.
All right. Our next case will be case number 2024-3936. Request by applicant in an R2 rural residential district for a variance to remove underbrush, including the removal of any trees less than 6 inches throughout the road and side buffers and any Chinese tallow trees. A waiver of the required 50-foot no-cut buffers on both sides of the boundary between Lot 554 and Lot 4. A variance to allow the removal of select trees and underbrush inside of the 25-foot no-cut buffers along Pichon Road, road existing live oak tree. Property is located at 26500 Pichon Road, Lacombe. Will the staff please read their comments?
The subject property consists of 2 lots, one of which fronts Pichon Road, and then the other is that longer linear lot behind it. The property is over 5 acres, so therefore it's required natural areas or no-cut buffers, as we used to call them in the old code, of 25 foot along the street and then 50 foot along all other interior property lines. The applicant has submitted a number of requests for select cuts, including the removal of a required 50-foot natural buffers on both sides of the boundary line and between the Lot 554, which fronts Pichon, and Lot 4. Both of these properties are commonly owned. The applicant is also requesting removal of all trees and underbrush around the existing oak tree from the base of the tree to the street. The base of the oak tree is located inside the required 50-foot natural buffer, and the drip line extends into the required 25-foot natural street buffer. Only the trees and underbrush located on Lot 554 are requested to be removed, considering that Lot 553 is owned by another party. The removal of trees and underbrush around the oak tree will allow for the preservation and beautification of the oak, enhancing the look of the site and the surrounding neighborhood. Staff has no objection to the variances, considering that the request conforms to the objectives of the land clearing, tree preservation, and landscape ordinances, and aligns with maintaining the character of the adjacent neighborhood.
Thank you. Who is representing this case, please? Would you come forward? State your name and address.
Hi, Kevin Marino, 139 Carmel Drive, Mandeville, Louisiana. I'm the property owner. As she said, we just trying to clean up the property. There's a lot of underbrush, a lot of invasive species all along the roadway and on the sides of the property line. So we're just trying to clean it up, get rid of the trash, make it look nicer, so we can eventually build a single-family home on it.
All right, sir. Is there anyone here who objects to this particular case? If not, I will ask the board for comments and questions. Mr. Faulkner.
Yes, I'm very familiar with this piece of property. It's in my area, and it's very overgrown and with lots of trash on it. It'll take a lot of work to get all that trash removed from there, for sure. Question I have is, being due to the obstruct nature and design of this property, is the home is going to be built within the lot 554 or the lot 4?
Yeah, lot 554. That's where we expect to. Once we get the land cleared a little better and we have a better idea of what it looks like, there's potential we'd want to build it on the spot where the 2 properties adjoin. We'd understand we'd need to get either a variance for setbacks on that middle piece for building, or combine the lots if we can do that. But right now it's so much underbrush we can't even tell what it looks like back there.
Okay, I'm looking at the your design of the colored thing here. So the yellow is going to be the remaining buffer that you plan on doing, but just the underbrush only?
Yeah, the buffer will remain, but we want to be able to underbrush along the whole buffer. So we're
Sure.
not going to cut
Clean
down
up,
trees.
clean up the trash and
Yeah,
get
clean up
rid
all
of the
the-
invasive species, right?
Yeah, and make sure we can put some no trespassing, no hunting signs on there.
So on your yellow design, on your yellow out border here, how many feet is that?
The no cut buffer or the natural area buffer, the yellow is 50 feet, and then the green is 25 feet because there's a unnamed road right there. It's not cut, but it's on the plat.
Okay.
All righty.
Just my only concern is if you plan on clearing lot 4, which is part of your property, correct?
Mhm. Yeah.
That you have houses, that are would be close to, or some property owners that have land on the north side of that area. So I want to make sure that we have a buffer zone between the back of those properties and your property.
Yeah, so our chances are we won't actually end up even being able to underbrush there, but the goal would be to underbrush it, make sure there's no trash, anything there, make sure we can figure out where the property line is nice and clean. But our eventual plan is not to build on that lot 4, leave it pretty much natural is the goal. And we did write letters to all the property owners that share that north or south boundary where there's adjacent property owners. We wrote letters to all of them over a month ago, and a couple of them have called and just asked what we were doing. They all thought we were building a subdivision, which I said, no, we're not a subdivision. And they didn't have any objections, and they didn't show up, which makes me think they didn't have any objections either.
Okay. Thank you.
Ms. Helen, we didn't get anything in objection to this, did we?
No, we
Okay.
received some phone calls, but after explaining and looking at the staff report, we didn't hear anything back, so.
Okay. Or are there any other comments or questions? Yes, sir.
Mr. Daly.
Mr. Daly.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I didn't see.
I'm going to infer from your answer, but I inferred incorrectly from when I first looked at this. So I assumed that lot 554 was going to be the access driveway into lot 4. So I was going to ask why you didn't use Shelby Road, but you pretty much answered that that's not the lot you're actually going to build on. So just wanted to confirm that the access, you wouldn't have an access point to lot 4 from, was it Shelby Road, the
Yeah.
current road that's between 2 lots?
Yeah, Shelby Road does actually touch the lot, so there's a trail that's been previously cut from before we owned it. It's still pretty overgrown, but that's not where we plan to access it. It would be a secondary access point if
Okay.
anything, but that's not really our plan.
All right, thanks.
All right. Mr. Swindell?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for actually coming to us for this before actually doing the work. That's kind of nice to see, and I mean, look, I'll vote for this because it looks like you're doing an obvious job to preserve the large trees and getting rid of some trash trees. Those Chinese tallow trees are terrible. And I think getting rid of the pine trees overhanging the road is also smart. So, yeah, I'll be voting for it.
Okay.
All right. Are there any other questions? All right. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve that question.
All right, Mr. Glarner. Just so we keep this legal. Go ahead.
I motion to approve as requested.
Do I have a s-
that.
All right, so it's moved by Mr. Glockner and seconded.
That was me.
Okay, all righty. Mr. Swindle, sorry, I couldn't see who seconded it. Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Will everybody please vote with their screen?
Motion carries, all in favor.
All right, thank you. Appreciate
Thank you, and thank you for doing this for the parish. It's going to be a real,
it. It'll look nice when we're done.
it will. And we, as a board, appreciate you coming to us before everything was done.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so we're now going to look at BOA case 2024-3937, which is a request by the applicant in a S1 suburban residential district to reduce the rear yard setback from 10 feet to 9 feet to allow for the placement of a manufactured home on the property. Property is located at 21271 Dogwood Street in Covington. The applicant and representative is Willie Laurent. May I have the staff findings, please?
When you develop a residential lot of record, the rear yard setback is 20% of the lot depth or 25 feet, whichever is less. This property is 50 feet in depth and therefore is required a 10-foot rear yard setback. The applicant is requesting a variance from 10 feet to 9 feet to allow for the placement of a manufactured home on the property.
Is there a recommendation?
No evidence
Other than
of
the
practical difficulty or unnecessary hardship has been submitted to support the variance request.
All right, thank you. All right, please, who is here to represent this case? 3937. Is there anyone here?
We may have to postpone.
All right, we're going to have to postpone this. I'll take a motion to postpone this.
I make a motion to postpone.
All right, a second.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to postpone case number 2024-3937. And Ms. Lambert, you will get in touch with them, I
Yes,
guess.
you just vote.
Okay. We need to vote, please.
Motion carries. All in favor?
All right. Okay, we're moving on to BOA case 2024-3948. The request by an applicant in an S1 suburban residential district to reduce the rear yard setback from 25 feet to 0 feet to allow for the construction of a pool cover. The property is located 14006 South Lakeshore Drive, Covington. The applicant is Stephen E. and Lauren F. Happel, and I would ask for staff findings, please.
The objective of the request is to allow for the installation of a roof system over an existing in-ground pool. The roof is planned to be attached to the house and will extend up to the rear property line, requiring a 25-foot rear yard setback. While the property is directly abutting Lake Ramsey and the rear property line, no evidence of a practical difficulty or unnecessary hardship has been submitted to support the requested variance.
Who is representing this case, please? Will you please come forward? Please state your name and your address.
Good afternoon. Stephen Happel, 14006 South Lakeshore Drive.
All right, sir. What do you have to tell us?
Well, I have with me, I brought today a letter from our HOA that says they have no opposition pending approval from the St. Tammany Parish. I have a letter from my neighbors saying they don't have any opposition of the proposed construction. I have the actual where the structure would sit, and just a note of clarification, the pool does not currently exist. This would be the installation of a pool with a structure above it. I have an architectural rendering of what that would look like, as well as pictures of the backyard that would show where the pool would sit in relationship to the rear property. Essentially, we're asking to build a structure over a pool. We've had a lot of problems with midge flies in St. Tammany, or in Lake Ramsey rather, and the midge flies are so much that it just gets into where we can't enjoy our back porch. You go out in the backyard after one night of them, I guess, mating, and you have a sea of black dead bugs all over your back porch. So what we'd like to do is, and actually the pool was kind of secondary to what we were thinking about for the structure. We just wanted a structure to enclose our back porch, and then when we decided to do this, we added the pool in there.
And this is at Lake Ramsey.
Yes, ma'am.
I drove out there, and we have had many cases from Lake Ramsey, and it is a very unusual community in terms of variances, etc. So, is there anyone here who objects to this that would like to speak about it? Would you please submit the paperwork so that we can take a look at it, please?
Yes,
This will take just a minute. How long have you been a resident of this particular home?
in that home since 2015, but I lived in Lake Ramsey on the woods side, kind of in the back of the neighborhood since
Not
2008.
on the lake.
Yes, ma'am. But this home in particular in 2015.
Is it okay if I ask a quick question?
Of course.
The pool does not exist right now?
It does not.
Okay. So is this request just about the cover or both the pool and the cover?
The pool, I think, has already been approved.
Oh, okay.
The cover would need approval because it is a structure extending within the setbacks.
Did you see the picture, Tom?
Yeah, yeah. I see
Okay.
I see the photos. I mean, I was just curious. I mean, the pool's within that setback too. It's fine. Either way, I support it. I just was curious. I want to make sure that that we're stating everything that you need to get the permits to do it all.
Gotcha.
Might be able to clarify. So
Please.
the pool, the applicant was given a permit for the pool, but because it's an in-ground pool, I believe he's only required a 5-foot rear yard
Oh, okay.
setback. So that's why there's a difference
Perfect.
there.
Okay.
Thank you, Aaron.
All right. Are there, I think I asked, are there any objections to this? If not, I'll open it to the board for comment and questions.
Can I make a comment again?
Mr. Swindell?
I'm just going to agree with what you were saying earlier. I think that we have a lot of property in this parish on the water, and I think that there's some unique circumstances that will show up in front of us frequently. And we'll have to take kind of a different approach to these things. I mean, the fact that you don't have a close by near neighbor, your association supports it. I'm definitely aware of the insects and all that stuff that go along with living on the water. So I'll vote to approve it.
Thank you.
All right, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh,
Did you have a question?
awesome, I did, yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Daly.
Okay, there we go. So the rear property line doesn't go all the way out to the bulkhead,
No, sir, it does
and
not.
so that's common HOA owned area, or
The way I've always understood it is that they gave me permission to bulkhead it, but and I also have to maintain it, but it's not my property. It's considered common area.
Conservative.
Okay, so they essentially gave you permission to build into their common area setback.
Correct.
Okay.
All right. Are there any other questions?
That was my same question. I mean,
Do we have a motion?
well,
Oh, you have a question?
yeah, I've been at
I
my
apologize.
thing on.
All right, Mr.
Maybe I
Wagner.
should wait next time. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Do other people have access to this common area? Because I'm just kind of confused as why your property line does not go to a bulkhead that you had to put in and that you have to maintain.
Right. So technically, I guess somebody could come camp out on my back lawn if they wanted to, because it's really considered lake bottom. That's not lake bottom.
Okay.
And it is considered common area because they gave me permission to bulkhead it, and I don't own it. I've offered to purchase it in the past, and they didn't go down that route. They just want to be able to, I guess they just want to be able to say that we can't do anything with it. It has to stay green space almost.
Okay.
I will say, my husband and I live in the lakes, and we have a 30-foot conservancy, and we are required to maintain that. But we are not allowed to build anything or do anything else with it, and that is to keep the pristine part of the lake and all that kind of thing. I'm assuming, knowing some about Ramsey, that they're the same way, so.
I would assume so. I mean, my original intent when we bulkheaded it was to match up against the neighboring properties.
Mm-hmm.
And on the right-hand side of the property, from my property line to the actual water is actually 30 feet.
Mhm.
And then on the left side, it's about 5 feet from my property line to the actual water's edge. And then we just bulkheaded and followed a natural curve around the lake to meet up to the neighboring properties. I did not intend to reclaim lake bottom or any of that, but now I have quite a bit of land that I have to maintain.
We understand.
Just another quick question. I'm looking at the satellite imagery. Looks like you have like a little boathouse or like a little
I do.
shed over the water area right there too?
I do. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right, cool. That's pretty unique. All right, thank you for your answer. I appreciate it.
All right. Do I hear a motion? Oh, I did not. Who made the motion? Mr. Swindell, you
think
made
we
the
had a
motion?
motion.
We do not have a motion.
But I'll do that.
I didn't
I'll
think
make a
so.
motion to approve the variance as requested.
Mr. Swindell has made the motion. Do I hear a second? A second. Thank you, Mr. Holm. It has been moved and seconded. Now will you please vote?
Motion carries. All in favor?
Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thank you much. Appreciate you.
All right. Being that that was our last case, other than the two that were postponed from last time. Ma'am, I'm sorry. Did you have,
That's the first two cases.
you're here to represent the first two cases? Okay, I'm so sorry. We just postponed to put them to the end so that you could be here when we started. All right, let's go ahead and start with BOA case 3890. And the variance request was for, to reduce the required front yard setback from 25 feet to 15 feet and required rear yard setback from 20 feet to 10 feet. Staff findings, please.
Yes, this request was in front of you in August and been re-advertised basically to request to reduce the front yard setback from 25 feet to 15 feet and the rear yard setback from 20 feet to 10 feet. I just want to confirm, also mention that basically after we did a little bit of investigation, the first case here that is in front of you, 3890, there is no mobile home on the property itself right now. This one is still vacant. The mobile home has not been moved onto the property.
Okay, thank you. All right. Would you please come forward, state your name and your address for us?
My name is Reina Cohen, and I forgot the address of the properties.
I'm sorry?
I forgot the address of the properties, but that's the case that we're talking about.
It's 72354 Violet Street,
Yes,
Covington.
Violet Street. Yes.
Yes,
Two properties.
two properties. Okay, can you lower the mic a little bit so we can hear
Okay.
you?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
yes, ma'am. Do you have anything further to say? We talked about it last time and you postponed based on you were going to provide new information for us.
Yes, I submit the sketch for the seat back, 10 in the back and 15 in the front, as we talked last time.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the trailers has not been moved because we're waiting for this to be approved so we can install the other trailer over there with
All
the
right.
permit, of course, after we get the permit.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to add?
No.
But we did ask you to do this, and you have
Yes.
cooperated with what we asked
Yes.
for. All right. With that being said, are there comments or questions from the board? Oh, is there any opposition outside? Since there was no one here. Is there any opposition here? Seeing none, I will open the board to questions and/or comments. Thank you, Mr. Glockner. After that, you don't get to speak. Go ahead.
How you doing, ma'am? How you doing
Hi.
today? So, we're discussing the one case first, and then we're going to discuss the other case next. On this case here, you plan on putting a similar trailer on this piece of property as you have on the other piece of property?
Exactly the same.
Exactly the same?
Yes.
Okay. And There's no opposition from your neighbors. Have you talked to any of your neighbors about this or anything?
No, the neighbors are happy.
The neighbors are
Yes,
happy.
yes.
Okay. And my other question is, will you be living in one of these trailers?
No, my husband, ex-wife is gonna live in one,
Okay.
and then my brother is gonna live in the other one.
Okay.
Yes, it's a
Okay.
family.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, any further questions?
I'll add a comment.
Mr. Swindell?
This area is very close to where I work, and I've driven through there. After last month, I drove through there, and look, I'll say that I think any improvement in this area is probably a good thing, even though, like, we are going within, what the Unified Development Code says. I think that it's a good compromise to do this, because I think that making these improvements, cleaning up the lots, I think anything along this line in this area is good, and it's going to improve the values for others in that area. So
I too went by it, and I totally concur with you. The more we can clean up some certain areas, I think it's something that we should do for the parish and for the city. But any other comments?
I'd like to make one more comment.
All right. Mr. Lochner?
Looking at, since these two cases are similar, since you guys have made your comments, just looking at the facts presented in front of me right now with the photos that you provided with the neighborhood in question around the area there, and the nice photo of the mobile home that you already have on one lot, I kind of agree with you fellas and ma'am that it's going to be a significant improvement to the neighborhood and probably start raising
We're gonna
some
put a
value.
lot of lights,
Okay.
many lights.
That's good.
All right. Well, I'll be in favor for this also.
All right. Do I hear a motion on this particular case?
I'll make a motion to approve as requested.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right. It's been moved and seconded. Will you please vote?
All in favor, motion carries.
All right. We will now take a look at the second case, which is
Thank you.
72384
Yes.
Violet Street. Request for an after-the-fact variance to reduce the required front yard setback from 25 feet to 15 feet and required rear setback from 20 feet to 10 feet. It is an S1 suburban residential district, manufacturing housing overlay.
So this is a request for an after-the-fact variance to reduce the required front yard setback from 25 to 15 and the rear yard setback from 20 to 10, as it was requested at the last meeting. Just want to inform the board that the additional fees have been paid for the after-the-fact, and, we're presenting this case to you as requested and as amended.
Thank you. As amended is important. Is there anyone here in opposition of this? Seeing none, I'll open questions and comments from the board. Seeing no comments, I will ask for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve that variance as requested.
Mr. Swindell, second.
I'll second that.
Thank you. It has been moved and seconded that we approve this variance request. All those in favor, please vote, or against, please vote with your keypad.
All in favor, motion carries.
Congratulations, and thank you for adhering
Thank you.
to our
I'm
request.
Very happy. Thank
Good.
you. Thank you so much.
We're very happy we made you happy. All right. That was our last case of the day. And- Thank you.
Thank you.
And I will now ask for old business. Mr. Daly, do you have any old business?
I'm feeling old, but I don't think.
All those in favor? Aye. All right, is there any new business that we need to entertain? All right. With that being said, then I would just say that the next meeting is going to be October
First.
the 1st. And so with that being said, I call this meeting adjourned.